Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you are watching or listening to this theme park news update. I am the CHALL, and today Chall Chats the Alton Towers Resort, as everything has now been announced for Scarefest 2024. Overall, we have a rebooted DAS Games, the return of Burial Grounds, the Attic Terror of the Towers, and also the return of Altonville Mine Tours Tiny's Revenge, alongside some of the family editions that we all revealed in a previous Alton Towers news update, which is linked in the description on all platforms. However, we also have information about the final sections and puzzles of this year's Scarefest, and that is the two big new additions for Scarefest this year. So we're going to go through them in a lot more detail and share some overall thoughts on both editions and around the overall event as a whole. So before we get started, make sure you do on YouTube like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. Comment down below your thoughts on this. What do you think? Do you think this is a good year for Scarefest? Comment down below. Are you excited? Hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes to plan, we will be there on Monday the 14th of October to experience Scarefest. Also, ladies and gentlemen, thrill seekers of all ages, make sure you do check out our updates on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, thrill seekers of all ages, let's get into this latest news update around Alton Towers Scarefest. We're going to talk about the Family Edition first before we talk about the Thrill Edition. So we're going to kick off with our Family Interactive Walkthrough Edition for ages 6 and up. And this is going to be located at the Alton Towers Dungeon. And this is Amigos in the Afterlife. Now, we spoke in the previous update about the rumours of scenery being spotted near the dungeon site, according to Live Deals and Thrills, received of Day of the Dead style theming. Well, that theme is true. And this is the description from the Alton Towers website. This Scarefest stepped foot into a vibrant world where the gap between this life and the next is at its thinnest. Be captivated by Dia de los Muertos celebrations, the bright colours and festive spirits. But be careful, you've accidentally crossed through a portal into the afterlife. Guided by friendly spirits, you must find your way back to the world of the living. Journey through this magical realm of spooktacular effects, encountering mischievous characters along the way, who will challenge you and your family with tasks to earn your passage back to the living realm. So that is an official description on Amigos in the Afterlife. So this will be located where the Alton Towers dungeon currently stands. For those of you not familiar with Alton Towers, the Alton Towers dungeon is an interactive show with a boat ride type attraction. It is a walkthrough attraction, so it's perfect for a kind of Scarefest attraction to potentially replace it either for a period of time or for a substantial amount of time. So the dungeon is being taken out for Scarefest, and Amigos in the Afterlife will replace it. Now, of course, there were questions at the start when we knew that something was coming to the dungeon site of, is Trick or Treat Town coming back, or are they going to take over the entire building? And as we already know, Trick or Treat Town is staying. It will take on that section of the dungeon build, or next to the dungeon building, but Amigos in the Afterlife will take part inside the dungeon building. Now, will it include the boat ride? I'm not too sure. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they will sort of border it up. Not really full-time border it up, but I think they'll do some kind of temporary border or some kind of theming to kind of block the entrance from the boat ride off from this one. And I think they may take you round, so you're not going through the boat ride, etc. Maybe take you through a long passageway towards the other end of the boat ride, for example. Maybe that's the direction they're going to go in with this one in terms of a potential route. In terms of the description of what it entails, you and your family being challenged by mischievous characters to complete tasks and get your way back into the out of the afterlife and into normal life again. It sounds very House of Monsters. Now, for those of you who don't know what House of Monsters was, this was located in the old Wobble World building, which is now Gangster Granny the Ride. So this was a family scare maze. For those of you who don't know what it was about, you've got to find Frankie, and there's different tasks. There's a plant room, and you sort of get led through this. It's like a vlogger almost. So you get led through this haunted house, and you complete little games and tasks, little jump scares here and there. And at the end of it, you find Frankie's girlfriend, I believe, and then they lead you to find Frankie. and turns him into a human, I believe. And it's all that kind. It's a very fun, kind of family-friendly horror experience. You know, it has some jump scares here and there, but overall, it's a family interactive experience. And this, for me, is going to be similar to House of Monsters. I think Alton Towers Resort will learn from the positives and the criticisms of House of Monsters from the past, take that on, and bring it into an even bigger location with the dungeon building, and use the Day of the Dead theme. I really hope the Day of the Dead theme is spot on, because it's very easy for a park or an attraction to just put up temporary lights, you know, a part-time wall, and, you know, little flickers of theming here and there, but not really go into the details of it. We know Alton Towers in the direction of storytelling, so we really, really hope and pray. Obviously, there's not a whole lot you can do, because at the end of the day, you do have an Alton Towers dungeon experience still to reopen beyond Scarefest, ready for the 2025 season, if it is indeed to come back, which, from the sounds of it, it will be. But for me personally, I think they need to do a really smart job here in theming this up as much as they possibly can without damaging potential dungeon property for the next season, or taking stuff out that can't be put back in regardless. It'd be interesting to see if they do use the boat ride. I would like to see them use the boat ride. But at the end of the day, I think this is just going to be a usual interactive walkthrough, and I think that's what we're going to experience at the Alton Towers Resort. What's the long-term future of the dungeon building? I don't know. But if this is a temporary fix for now, I think this is a wonderful idea during Scarefest. And I think that Amigos in the Afterlife is a great name as well. I love the logo of the experience as well. But let's get into the second experience new for Scarefest this year, and this is Compound. So welcome to Compound. This is for ages 12 and up. This is your live action scare maze. This is the new thrill edition this year. And this is going to be located in between Forbidden Valley and Gloomy Wood. It's that brand new, or one of the two location buildings that have been constructed over the last couple of months. And this is going to be the one located in between the Curse of Alton Manor and towards Nemesis Reborn and Forbidden Valley. And even though I was predicting an invitation type theme, this will indeed be a phalanx theme, as a bit of a teaser or a starter before you walk up to the main course, which is Forbidden Valley. So I do get it from a location perspective, but that is just what we're going to deal with in terms of the hand we've been dealt. But here's what the website described this particular maze as. Bravely step forward and find yourself a subject of the phalanx. Guarded by their relentless operatives, you're plunged into a sinister sci-fi experiment where your DNA is the next weapon. Are things really as in control as they seem? Can you escape their clutches, or will you become the next target of the experiments lurking within? Compound is an intense and disorienting scare maze set within an intimidating phalanx facility featuring dark and claustrophobic environments amongst the hallways and chambers of their labs. Dare you enter this scientific nightmare? So Compound is very much your walkthrough around the facility building. Everything's not as it seems, nothing's in control. We're here to seek the truth, and the truth shall be revealed, hidden between the dark corners of the Phalanx laboratory. Compound, first of all, as a name, is stunning. I love the logo, I love the style of it, the design of it. It's straight to the point, doesn't waffle, and as a promotion, as a product to promote, in terms of a Halloween promotion, I think it works perfectly. With the location, am I a bit upset they didn't use some kind of Curse of Alton Manor style theme? Yes, but we do have to think of the other argument towards it. Like I said, it's a bit of a teaser, a bit of a starter before you head up to Forbidden Valley, Nemesis Reborn, Subterra, The Blade, Galactica, and hopefully by next year, if it comes back again for Scarefest 2025, you're going to have this new Project Ocean ready for 2025 as well, which is going to be probably the Hull suspended topspin model. I know Digital Dan called it Ripsaw's Revenge. I kind of like that name. I kind of hope they go with that name, but I won't be surprised either way. But Compound as an experience sounds incredible. I think this is the perfect way, or one of the perfect ways or routes to use one of the two location buildings being constructed. Of course, the other one we'll talk about in a sec. But Compound is going to be interesting. Are we going to see elements of the old Subterra theming that weren't used in the rebirth of Subterra last year? Are we going to see new bits of Phalanx theming? We definitely are. And I think the idea of using a survival game style building arrangement in terms of the shipping containers and a sci-fi door which was reportedly spotted on site over the last couple of weeks at Alton Towers, and according to sources. And again, I think that fits very, very well with the announcement of Compound. Of course, I didn't talk about the sci-fi door rumor until now because I wanted to wait until the announcement to speak about it. But I did heard from various sources there were sci-fi door spot. Well, I think a sci-fi door spotted around the park over the last few weeks. But it's going to be very, very interesting. I think the Compound is going to be a wonderful, intense experience. I personally can't wait to experience it. Obviously, if you want to check out all the prices, etc., for scare mazes, park entry during Scarefest, and times and opening, closing times, this, that, the other, check out the Alton Towers website. I've linked in the description on all platforms, so if you're listening to this, watching this, you can check it out for yourself. But let's review both editions and also talk about that other location building and talk about my theory. So that is the end of coming up with the review of these two new editions for Alton Towers Scarefest 2024. Overall, this is going to be a wonderful year for Scarefest this year, and with these two new editions, it's really going to bring the family, both young and old, together for an intense and family-friendly Halloween experience. Now then, there is one major question, and that is the other location building. Now, this locates on the former site of Darkest Depths, so this was the other one of the two location buildings for Scarefest attractions being constructed, and my big theory here is that obviously we know that one particular scare attraction is being rebooted this year, and that's Daz Games Panic Rebooted. I believe, and this is my personal theory, I think it's not going to be next Spinball Wizard this year. I think that will be the location for Daz Games Panic Rebooted. Now, is that the best location for that one? Personally, I wouldn't think so, unless, and this is a big one, unless you really split it off from Dark Forest, unless you really hide it very, very well and hide the walk up very, very well. As long as you keep it so it's separate but flows together very, very well with the pathway you're on, I think there's a way of doing it and working it in and around that site. On the face of it, on paper, did it look like the best site? Probably not. I would have kept it in the similar location next to Spinball Wizard, but I think that there is opportunities with that location, and maybe that's why they wanted to reboot Daz Games, bring it into an even bigger location, and try some new things with it. Because obviously it was a very high-tech scare attraction, that one. And I'm very intrigued to see what Daz Games is going to be like. Obviously, I went to the park when Daz Games was first open. Of course, because it first opened in 2023 Halloween. Obviously, I went to the park last year before Halloween and took some shots for Oktoberfest, and it was the construction of that next Spinball Wizard, and it did have a lot of nice theming outside. It wasn't high-tech outside, but it was some nice theming, and I think all the technology and all the investment went into inside that attraction. So I think Daz Games is going to be pretty interesting. I predict this will go in the other location building where Darkest Depths used to be. I think the conference centre next Spinball Wizard is going to get untouched this year. Maybe you could put a little walkabout section or maybe some characters here and there to kind of make it still Halloween themed around there near Spinball Wizard. You've got the front lawn, which is going to produce some shows anyway, which we touched on in the previous update about Scarefest. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see all this come together and everything like that. Fingers crossed, I want to try and get out to Alton Towers for the Oktoberfest event this year, just to try and get some construction stuff for Scarefest. But if not, then we'll hopefully be at Scarefest on the 14th of October regardless. So it's going to be a very interesting event this year. I'm really excited for it as well. I think the two new additions look brilliant. I think if they really theme it up to the level of detail that I hope they will, I think that we're in for a quality year for Scarefest this year. Obviously, question marks around some fans in the ghost community and theme park community of, you know, is this going to be the best, one of the better Scarefest events this year? Is the scare level, the thrill level going to be up there? Are we going to get some good scares, some good screams in there? It's going to be very interesting. Alton Towers want to try and keep on top of it as much as they can, and I, for one, cannot wait. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening and watching this theme park news update. I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now, and that is the end of your theme park experience.